Hey guys, TrueGreen7 here, and today is my birthday! Now don't be too happy though, cause that means I'll be extra mean and savage in this video, cause I know that I'll get a billion likes and comments no matter what. It's also a good opportunity to advertise the shirts I made. Buy them. Now there are a ton of Pokemon that people hate. A tiny bit of the hate is for a multitude of good reasons, but most of the hate is for stupid reasons, like a Pokemon's lack of competitive battling capabilities. You mean to tell me that not every animal on this earth is able to defeat other animals in battle? Well, that's just insane. How dare this hamster not fight well? I might as well just kill all hedgehogs, sloths, and fennec foxes, except that's a terrible idea. Let's not do that. But you get it. Some Pokemon are hated for various reasons, like Watchog, but that doesn't mean I hate them too. So in this video, I'm gonna count down the unpopular Pokemon that I actually like. If I didn't include an unpopular Pokemon in this video, it's either because I never considered the Pokemon to be extremely unpopular, or I just didn't like it as much as the following 10 Pokemon. Understand that I generally do like all Pokemon, except for like 5. I just choose to find the good within all Pocket Monsters, whether it be a cool origin, creative design, in-game lore, or personal appeal. Now on to number 10. Shiinotic. So I just realized that I haven't really heard any specific criticisms of this Pokemon yet. I just know that people don't like it, and it's not even close to people's favorite Alola Pokemon. And here I am putting it in my top 10 favorite Alola Pokemon list. I just think this thing is adorable. Although there are better mushroom Pokemon, both design and stat-wise, Shiinotic is just appealing to me. Its bioluminescence shines bright in my heart. I totally understand why others would think it's creepy, and why most wouldn't use it in battle, but I just never hated it. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to use it in my main game team, considering I think Decidueye is stupidly cool, so I was never disappointed about how terrible its stats were. He's just a cool little dude. If I was walking in the forest and just saw him chilling there, I'd be like, "How you doing, Shiinotic?" And he'd be like, and I'd be like, "Cool, bro. Have a nice day." Number 9. Heatmor. I have a lot to say about this guy. I know a lot of fans think Heatmor's ugly or something, but like, it's an anteater. I never expected an anteater and or aardvark to look handsome. I mean, Arthur's a fine young man, but he's the only exception. But you know not every animal is beautiful, you just gotta deal with the fact that there are some ugly animals out there. Your mother's an example. Okay, it's my birthday. Let me have this one. I thought it was funny, so I let it slide, but I'm sure your mother is as beautiful as a summer sunset, or as hot as a Heatmor. The point is, if you can't find anything to like about a Pokemon's appearance, you can't automatically hate it. Look to its concept and origin for any signs of creativity. And while I never thought Heatmor had a bad design, I always appreciated its concept more than its appearance. You always have to look at Heatmor along with Durant. I think it's an amazing idea that there is an impenetrable Pokemon like Durant. It only has one weakness: fire. So what kind of animal would be predator to a metal ant? A flame-throwing anteater. It's pretty clever. Heatmors just melt Durant's metal exoskeletons and eat up the innards. Delicious. Number 8. Barbaracle. Once again, we have another Pokemon that is reviled for its ugliness. It is ugly. So, it's a Barnacle. If you thought a Barnacle Pokemon wasn't gonna be ugly, I don't know what to tell you. But here's the thing. You could totally hate a Pokemon because it makes you feel uncomfortable due to its, undesirable appearance. But that definitely doesn't mean that it was badly designed. You know what's pretty much the only thing Barnacles do? Multiply. So the fact that this thing has 5 more hand faces than its pre-evolved form makes total sense. And there are other things that I personally like about it. Barbaracle is an amazing name, and I also love how menacing this monster looks. I would never mess with a Barbaracle. I'm sure you wouldn't too. That means its design is 100% beneficial for its survival, and when it comes to an animal's biology, that's all that counts. Number 7. Stunfisk. Stunfisk is an example of an unpopular Pokemon that is sometimes beloved for looking derpy. This is the derp master right here. He knows how much swag he's got, and I can assure you that once again, this thing doesn't have a bad design despite how unattractive it is. In fact, I kinda think it's cute when it smiles. Stunfisk is the trap Pokemon. It hides in the mud, waits for something to step on it, and then sends a jolt of electricity once it's stepped on. A mud mine Pokemon is, in my opinion, a smart idea. Of course, such a Pokemon needs to be flat, so its flounder-like design is totally justified. This thing knows what it's doing. Look at its face. It has no regrets. I mean, at least it looks much better than its real-life counterpart. Oh, that thing is not going to be paired with some tartar sauce, I'll tell you that. Number 6. Luvdisc. It's cute. That's always enough to like a Pokemon. I actually never knew people disliked this Pokemon until I became part of the Pokemon community. People just think it's weak and has a terrible design. I mean, it is simple, but it totally conveys the message that it's based on the fish that looks the same and does the same thing that Luvdisc does. And I agree that there isn't any reason to use one in battle, but it's still useful. I loved snatching the heart scales that these things carry in Hoenn. That was basically the purpose for them being in the game. And regardless, I have no problem with filler Pokemon, especially in a region that I personally think is already filled with amazing creatures. To me, Luvdisc isn't a waste of space. I just wish people loved Luvdisc as much as I do. You know that young couple in Oras? When I get a girlfriend, that's the first thing we're doing. We're gonna buy shirts with Luvdiscs and pose for this exact picture. The dude even has a green version of the Luvdisc shirt. It's perfect. I encourage every Poke couple to do this. But for now, I'll have to settle with the shirts I made. Which isn't a bad thing, I'm just giving you a fact. Number 5. Vanillite. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Vanillux, but I think Vanillite is as appealing as ice cream, really. It's adorable, and that's all it needs to be, considering it grows up to be a relatively strong Pokemon. I would not mind if this Pokemon existed in real life. My beverages will always be frosty, and I'll have a nice companion to drink them with. I personally have no problem with the idea of ice cream Pokemon, especially since it is implied that the ice cream in the Pokemon world was designed after these Pokemon. Think of them as floating ice crystals, or I don't know, as friends maybe? And even if it was literally a floating frozen dairy dessert, it's still amusing. Lighten up, people! If you can't see the fun in Vanillite, then you're just limiting the reach of your happiness. Game Freak has the right to have fun every once in a while, and if you don't like vanilla, there's always strawberry. Number 4. Unown. Here are all the gripes that fans have, and here are all the grapes that fans have. Just a minor joke, so everybody knows that Unown are weak as butts, can only learn one move that all other Pokemon can learn in the first place, and have been teased to be legendary Pokemon in the anime, but aren't actually legendaries in the game. Some people think their designs are dumb, and others just don't like anything that reminds them of school. But I actually love the concept of ancient hieroglyph Pokemon. It's implied that the alphabet was actually inspired by these beings in the Pokemon world, and their minimal design makes them even more mysterious. The fact that they may hold some hidden power, beyond the move Hidden Power, is interesting, and the implications of these Pokemon actually being Arceus' fabled 1,000 arms is intriguing. I know people were just disappointed by these Pokemon when they encountered them in-game, but I always knew how useless these Pokemon were before I got them, so there wasn't any disappointment. Number 3. Avalugg. I actually don't understand why this Pokemon isn't more popular. It's a living iceberg. That's like the coolest thing ever. I swear on this random person's grave that was an unintentional pun. Moving on. Not only is it an iceberg, but it's also an aircraft carrier. Those are literally two of the most intimidating and epic things in the world. The only complaints I ever hear are how it's not very good in battle and that it's flat. Yeah. People are complaining that it resembles a table. That's just dumb. I really don't understand it. This is literally my favorite Ice-type Pokemon, and I've never even used it. I don't care if it's slow. I've been to Alola. I know what it's like to use slow Pokemon, so I'm used to it. And once again, you gotta learn that just because you don't like how it looks, doesn't mean that it has a bad design. A tabular iceberg aircraft carrier is incredibly creative. In fact, it's so creative that the Allied forces decided that they should make an iceberg aircraft carrier during World War II, but those plans never came to fruition. Number 2. Burmy. It's at this point I gotta tell you how I really don't have any negative opinions about gimmicky Pokemon. Who cares if there's a Pokemon that isn't good in battle? It does not affect the Pokemon that are actually strong. Not every Pokemon has to be useful. Let them just exist. I'm not complaining because every creature on Earth doesn't benefit me in any way. What has a bagworm ever done for me? At least I think Burmy is kinda cute. I love his concept, and I even think he's a better bagworm Pokemon than Pineco. I like Burmy so much that I made a Plant Cloak 7 t-shirt that y'all can get for yourselves. Enjoy. I don't know why I said y'all, I'm from New York City. It's my birthday, let me say whatever I want. And overall, I think Burmy is as good as any depiction of a bagworm can get. If you don't want to use it, don't. Nobody's throwing Burmies at your faces. I mean, if they are, that's pretty messed up. But I really can't do anything about that. Number 1. Castform. So what are the complaints thrown at Castform? It's not competitively viable, it's got boobs, don't know why that's a bad thing, and most of all, everyone thinks it's a gimmick. That is, that they think its forms aren't useful or impressive and are just for show. But I don't get it. So if you think it's a gimmick, don't use it. It's not like Game Freak advertised Ruby and Sapphire as the only chance to catch the mythical Castform. Once again, not every Pokemon needs to be perfect in a competitive setting, at least in my opinion. Why not look for other reasons to enjoy the creature? I think Castform is as cute as hell, especially in its other forms, and it has an amazing origin and design aspects, some of which won't be appreciated by Western audiences. It's based on the Teru Bozu, Japanese dolls that summon good weather. Castform also kinda looks like a cloud, and it 100% resembles a water molecule. As a child, I totally thought this Pokemon was special considering how rare it is. I wasn't gonna use it, so it's not like I was disappointed by its low stats. But even if I did want to use it, I was never going to choose it in real battles because I'm not a competitive battler. I actually think Total Morantis has proven that Castform could be useful in battle. So why should I dislike it when I enjoy practically every other thing about it? But if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. And I would absolutely love you if you became a patron to get cool rewards and help support the channel, like the always awesome Nicholas and shiny Zoroark. You could also check out these awesome shirts I made. Either way, it means a lot to me that you're even watching this. So always keep in mind that you can send me messages on Facebook and Twitter. All the links for everything I just said are in the description. Bye bye.